standings so far dahil nga po nakapaglaro na kahapon dito sa FIBA Asia Cup. This is the first day of this Saturday, second day of competitions na po. This standings is brought to you by Smart Prepaid Only, ang bonding with Smart Prepaid Only FP2.
Now introducing officials of the game.
Officials on your screens. 1-0 na itong Chinese Taipei. They already have that momentum and yung kumbaga nga they already got their feet wet, Jason. Medyo mas gamay na nila yung court dito.
It's also important for these guys, for Chinese Taipei. When you look at, they already played Jordan dito sa grupo na to. And you'd think that they would be able to handle Singapore. So, medyo angat na sila dito. And like you said, medyo gamay na nila yung lugar, the weather, how the calls are going to be made, as well as just the entire feel of the arena.
So we see Big Beau Belga, Japeth Aguilar, Washigton making his debut for Gilas Pilipinas. Did you know that the Philippines finished 8th when it first joined the FIBA Asia Tournament in 2004. This trivia is brought to you by Smart Prepaid. Only ang bonding with Smart Prepaid, only FB2. Ang mananalo sa tournament na to, Jason, will get an automatic ticket to the next FIBA Asia Championships. Hindi na kailangan dumaan sa qualifying. So, pwede naman nating sabing hindi natin kailangan yan dahil sa Southeast Asia tayo naman talaga nananalo palagi, pero importante pa rin na meron kang momentum heading into the bigger tournaments.
This is, you know, for Coach Chot Reyes, he has what, almost 2 months to prepare for the Worlds, and every tournament, every opportunity na nagkakaroon yung team to bond together, to learn the system, and actually more, and also to learn the tendencies of one another in a tournament setup, malaking bagay yan para sa Gilas Pilipinas.
How about readjusting to how the FIBA game is called? Binanggit na nga natin, we are just a few days removed from the end of the 2014 PBA season. Iba talaga yung dating dito, you know?
You gotta get used to the shot clock once again, or rather the quarter clock. You gotta get used to how the game is going to be called. And that's why, like we mentioned, so important to have all of these pocket tournaments or mini tournaments or actual tournaments na pwedeng salihan para dito sa Gilas Pilipinas.
What a moment para dito kay Dillinger. He missed out on having a slot last year sa Gilas Pilipinas nung siya'y na-aksidente. This time around, he wants to more than make up for it.
Remember, he was actually in the lineup that won the Jones Cup, and he was very integral in that lineup because he has that ability to play the point guard and be a big point guard for that team. And also, pwede rin siya mag-combo. So, you know, especially when we join the World, napaka-importante magkaroon tayo ng a little bit of size when we join the World.
So the officials just making sure everything is good to go. Take a look at Chang of Chinese Taipei. Yung number 11 na yan na si Liu, 18 points ang ginawa niyang kahapon kontra sa Jordan. Another one of those guys to watch out for, of course, and also Quincy Davis. It'll be Big Daddy Marcus Douthit jumping it up. At ito, pati yung mga abubot sa katawan, iba rin ang regulation dito sa FIBA.
Yes. For the guys that, you know, alam mo yung Chinese Taipei, kahit na papano, nakakilala na ng mga Pilipino yung mga players nila. So, in today, we're not gonna see si Seng, yung number 4 nila. Hindi na natin makikita si Chen Lei, si Lin Chiche, at saka si Doug Creighton. You know, those guys were guys that we remember when they played in Manila.
Yun po, yung isa doon, si Longhair, yung isa si Pogi, wala po sila sa lineup ngayon na itong Chinese Taipei. Dillinger ends up giving up the foul sa pagkakataon na yun. So we are 15 seconds into the action. Pwede mo ba sabing bukod dun sa mga individuals, lalo na yung mga bagong mukha sa Gilas Pilipinas, bukod sa parang final tryout para sa kanila, pwedeng sukatan na rin dahil sinusukat natin yung mga ibang makakalaban dito?
Well, I'm sure the coaching staff already knows dun sa FIBA side or rather sa Asia side yung kapasidad ng mga makakalaban natin. I think it's really more on just being able to set your offensive rules, defensive rules, and practicing it on a game setup. And you can see, start pa lang ng laban natin, guys are talking on the floor and trying to make sure kung ano yung napag-usapan sa dugout, kung ano yung pinagawa sa practice, magawa nila on the floor.
Sloppy start both ways so far. Dito sa day 2 ng 5th FIBA Asia Cup. Dillinger looking to attack that 2-3 zone of Chinese Taipei. Douthit with that leather. They swing it around. Gary D launches a 3 and punches it through.
The willingness to pass by a big man. Nakita natin si Marcos Douthit. Nakita niya, marami naman nakapaligid sa kanya. Able to move the ball around and get that 3-point shot.
3-point shot na yun, hatid sa atin ng the biggest all-star basketball charity event happening this July 22 and 23 sa Smart Araneta Coliseum. Yan po ang PLDT Homes, the last homestand. Chinese Taipei turns it over once again. Gary D will push it. LA is with him. Gary D drops it off. Tenorio delivers the 2 points.
Yeah, that all started because of the good defense on the part of the Gilas. Makita natin, 2 possessions para dito sa Chinese Taipei back-to-back. Good defense being employed by the Philippine team.
Chinese Taipei goes to the long ball. 3-pointer is out. Outside jumper, mintis yan. Davis para sa rebound. Ito nga pala nga, pinapanood natin is being shown live on www.news5.com.ph and every game for the rest of the week mapapanood din sa ating website.
Guys, in FIBA, referees usually very tight when it comes to that traveling call. They want to make sure that you put the ball on the floor before your last foot comes off the ground.
So Chinese Taipei, so far, medyo may kalawang kahit nakahapon tinambakan nila yung Jordan.
Pwede mo sabihin kalawang, but you can also say, you look at the way Philippines is playing defense, especially the possession before this. Everyone very alert on the ball, talking on ball screens, make it very difficult for Chinese Taipei.
Yu puts up a wild one. Dillinger para sa board, gets it to Tenorio. LA on the run, punches it out. Here's Gary for 3. Kapusga lang, nandun si Douthit. Ayaw pa rin, but Dillinger's not giving up on it. Somehow the ball ends up with Tenorio, but he turns it over papunta kay Davis. Chinese Taipei going to that spin. Traveling yun.
Chinese Taipei looking to attack on the break because they're having a problem solving that half-court defense ng Gilas Pilipinas.
Chang Yung Swan with that turnover. Tenorio against 2 defenders. They locate David at the corner. Gary's now 1 for 3. Chinese Taipei looking to push it once again. Pero they are ending up settling for those wild shots. Binabanggit mo nga yung stonewall defense ng Gilas Pilipinas.
That's just good transition defense on the part of Gilas Pilipinas. Although they're pushing the ball, speaking of Chinese Taipei, nakikita natin, ang bilis rin bumaba ng Gilas Pilipinas.
Douthit finally secures it. Pitches us out papunta kay Dillinger. Jared in the lane is fouled.
Dillinger able to attack this time around. Tayo naman yung umatake doon sa transition defense ng Chinese Taipei. Could have been up, speaking of Gilas Pilipinas, by much more. Had a few good looks mula kay Gary David. But like he said, these guys still also trying to get a good feel of the court. Remember, when you play in a different coliseum, iba yung pakiramdam ng dimensions ng lugar.
Can Japeth outjump Blake Griffin, or can Jeff Chan outshoot Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard? Find out at the PLDT Home Last Homestand All-Star Charity Event on July 22 and 23 at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. Also featuring Fiber All-Stars The Truth, Paul Pierce, Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, and Damian Lillard. Buy your tickets now for as low as $750 all in at ticketnet.com.ph. FIBA All-Stars or Gilas Pilipinas, saan ka? Kampihan na! 5-0 pa rin nasa ating talaan as Tenorio locates Douthit. Sorry miss. Big Daddy though looking to clean it up. Wala mapupunta sa Chinese Taipei.
It seemed like the best of calls right there para sa Gilas Pilipinas. That ball seemingly went out of the hands of Chinese Taipei, but that's fine. We put ourselves in a bad situation because of this gimme right here. You gotta make this shot right here. You're much bigger than the opponent. Also, pwede rin natin sabihin, pati si Marcos Douthit, still also getting used to competitive basketball.
Not the best of calls? Parang nagbago ka na, Jay.
Ganun na talaga ngayon. Kaibigan na natin mga referee ngayon eh. Dati ka pa naman kaibigan. Yan, mas close kami.
Mas close na kayo. Dati-rati, iba yung mga dialogue mong ganun eh. 5-0 pa rin naman. Lamang pa rin dito ang Gilas Pilipinas.
But you know, what you can take away from the first portion of the first quarter is the defense of the Philippines, limiting Chinese Taipei to nothing on the board up to this point.
Halos nangangalahati na ang ating opening quarter. 3-point play opportunity coming up para kay El Granada. That's already his 5th point of the game.
And he's getting his opportunities. This is a good drive on the part of LA, and Gary David able to have that teardrop go his way.
This slow-mo replay is brought to you by Smart Prepaid. Unli ang bonding with Smart Prepaid. Unli FB2. Yung China kahapon, tinambakan yung Indonesia. Simulat sa pool, umabot yata ng 29-0. Abutin kaya natin yun? Pa 8-0 na to.
It'd be nice to have those leads like that, but remember, those are not really the goals here. Big leads and such. It is a continuing learning process for the team that has been set up by Coach Chot.
Davis at the post. He led all scorers para sa Chinese Taipei yesterday with 21. They swing it around, looking for the long ball once again. Japeth Aguilar from out of nowhere to snatch away that rebound. Tenorio on the front court. They go to Dillinger. Couldn't rifle it over. Papunta sana kay Douthit. Traveling tuloy. Napito sa kanya.
Already the second turnover called on a traveling violation on the part of the Philippines. And more than 3 turnovers already in the first quarter alone.
Ang isa pa nating dapat makasanayan na naman, just like last year, basta po nasa FIBA tayo, walang mga mandatory timeout. So tuloy-tuloy lang ang aksyon hanggat hindi tumatawag ang mga head coach. Sweeping jump hook, still couldn't get Taipei on the board.
While the shots are getting better, they're better looks, still nothing going para sa Chinese Taipei.
Japeth all the way, Douthit rebound, high off the glass, 10-0 na ang lamang ng Gilas. Wala pa rin yun para dito kay Quincy Davis.
And like we said, the shots are getting better, but when you dictate early on kung anong klaseng depensa ang lalaruin mo, nararamdaman ng kalaban yun. And even when they're open, they feel that you're gonna close out on them defensively.
Mahigit kalahati na lumilipas dito sa ating opening quarter. Jay Washington has checked into this game for the first time. Papalitan si Aguilar. Etong Chinese Taipei has dug themselves into a 10-0 hole. Katama naman, 0 for 10 ang kanilang field goals. Count that basket. Offensive
that's
foul.
That's going to be an offensive foul on Quincy Davis on that illegal screen.
So sayang para kay Peng. Could have gotten Taipei on the scoreboard. 4.5 minutes na titira sa quarter number 1.
See, here's the value of a guy like Jared Dillinger. Pwedeng siya yung magbaba ng bola para sa'yo. He relieves the pressure out of LA Tenorio from that point guard spot.
Douthit trying to decide what to do. Davis right in front of him. Douthit pull-up jumper, no good. Chinese Taipei trying their darndest best to push that leather, but still could not get an advantage. They go up. And alley-oop is good, completed by Chen.
Failed in terms of locating their man was Gilas Pilipinas, and this time around they pay.
So it took them 6 minutes to finally get a basket. Binawi naman kagad ni Tenorio sa kabilang dulo.
But you look at what Chinese Taipei is doing. It's no cheer offense ang nakikita natin mula sa kanila. They make a basket on one end, they're attacking right away. At di nila hinahayaan mabuo yung depensa ng Pilipinas.
Well, they haven't had much to cheer for. As Garvo Lanete checks into this game. Para dito kay Gary David. Of course, si Gabo, produkto ng San Beda Red Lions Basketball Farm. Andiyan din si Kevin Louie Alas na produkto naman ng Letran. Maya-maya makikita na natin siya in action as Paul Lee has also joined the 5 para sa Gilas. Iba talaga pag nakikita mong pumapasok na yung bola, no? 3-point shot brought to us by the biggest all-star basketball charity event happening this July 22 and 23 at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. PLDT homes the last homestand. Douthit at the post. He goes cross-court. Washington, though, couldn't handle that leather.
Your coach shot Reyes. Your first group had a good start. Limiting Chinese Taipei to only 2 points at one point and even actually nothing past the 5-minute mark. Now you change personnel. You're hoping that the guys on the bench are going to be able to play at that same level and not take things for granted after starting out with a big lead.
Chinese Taipei trying to dump that ball over papunta dun kay Davis. Ball will go over to Gilas Pilipinas as Dillinger is being relieved by Ranidel de Ocampo.
Almost the entire starting unit of Coach Chot already on the bench. Naiiwan na lang si Marcos Douthit. Natatanging hindi pa pinapapalitan. The Philippines gonna get called for an offensive foul.
At si Paul Lee po yan, ayun nakikita nyo. Na number 7, Paul Chan Dalistan, ang kanyang pangalan sa kanyang passport. Daming bagong muka para dito sa Chinese Taipei, no? We are seeing in this ball game. And these guys are relatively young, Jason. Bukod kay Quincy Davis, walang mahigit 26 years old dito sa Chinese Taipei.
And that's also the reason maybe why we have guys coming in that are much younger as that 3-point shot starting to open up para dito sa Chinese Taipei.
3-point shot na naman hatid sa atin ng the biggest all-star basketball charity event happening this July 22 and 23 at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. PLDT homes the last homestand. Pero si Polly, a shaky debut para sa Gilas Pilipinas. Ito si Polly, ang tagal na niyang pangarap na makapagsilbi for flag and country.
Yeah, it's tough for Paul. Remember that almost no rest at all para sa kanya.
Matapos silang hindi pala rin in that sudden death PBA finals, alas 3 ng umaga that same night, nasa airport na sila to join Gilas Pilipinas. Lidi Discarte. They go to Washington for the long ball. Diubra, Davis for the board. Chinese Taipei looking to run once again. Quick release on that baseline, Jay. That's good para kay Hu.
Our defense definitely has fallen off, especially transition defense. Paulie makes that mid-range jumper. Hindi na sabi nga natin, sobrang ganda. Ang ganda ng pressure sa bola ng Pilipinas. Here in the latter part of this first quarter, you see less and less shots that are being contested as well as ball pressure.
That jumper should get Paul Lee on track in this game. De Ocampo gets it underneath. Paul Lee goes back-to-back.
I don't think there's any question in anyone's mind that if Paul Lee will be able to perform well in the international scene, and those back-to-back baskets definitely erased what might have been, a tight start para sa kanya.
Panik na naman sa 6 mga bante ng Gilas Pilipinas. Largest lead was at 10. Ball will go our way as Chinese Taipei continues to shuffle that lineup.
And Philippines doing the same as well. I expect Marcos to get some rest.
Si Wesley Gonzalez ba? Lalaro sa Chinese Taipei. So far, with just a minute and change remaining in quarter number 1, your first impressions of this batch of Gilas?
Pero ang nakita naman natin, napakaganda ng simula natin. You know, that first unit, where in that unit, marami na kasing may experience dun sa Gilas Pilipinas. Here, this second unit, these guys have so little or had very little time to gel together. So it might take a while for them to have that same kind of cohesiveness compared to what we saw from that first unit.
The Ocampo pushes our lead back up to 8 points. Taipei gustong sukatin. Etong si Ranidel, tutulong si Fajardo. Outside jumper is a miss. Washigton para sa board. Lee on the move. Junmar sealing underneath. Washigton to the Ocampo. Free for the jumper. Long two is good. Just like that, we are back up by 10.
Yeah, a bit of a hiccup in the latter part, middle to latter part of the first quarter, but a good push here sa pagtatapos ng first quarter brings the lead back up to 10 once again.
Last shot time para sa Chinese Taipei. 6 to go. Scoop shot, di ubra. May pagkakataon pa mga Pilipino. Washigton is fouled.
Oh my gosh. They're actually gonna call traveling.
Oh? Okay, so it was. Kala ko pa uli. So, 0.9 natitira para sa Chinese Taipei to try and come up with a shot. Makakanakaw pa ba sila to cut this to a single digit? Quick release. Who misses? That'll do it for the first 10 minutes of action.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Smart Prepaid.
Ang bonding with Smart Prepaid Only FB2. Ito nga pong kalaban natin, Chinese Taipei. 1-0 na ng kanilang talunin kahapon ang Jordan. Ito naman po ang pagbubukas ng kampanya ng ating sariling Gilas Pilipinas. Mag-umargin po kasama natin si Jason Webb. Tumututok dito sa 5th FIBA Asia Cup coming to us from Wuhan, China. Do you know that Chinese Taipei, India, Japan, and the Philippines are among the current participants who also joined the first edition of FIBA Asia Cup. Noong 2004 po yan sa Chinese Taipei. This trivia is brought to us by Smart Prepaid. Unli ang bonding with Smart Prepaid, Unli FB2.
Alam mo rin, no, the advancement of Chinese Taipei basketball, also major part of that, nakikita natin yung willingness nila mag-host ng iba't ibang mga competition that allows their players to have that international exposure.